I joined as the Chief Learning Officer, primarily dealing with all the training and development activities of the company itself, be it with the employees and also with the trainings of the LiveJasmin models. And it has evolved a little bit. However, the main gist of it is to still train the LiveJasmin models and the LiveJasmin community, which is the studio trainers and studio managers.
So I peeked on your LinkedIn
Yes.
and I saw a quote you have on there, which said that you like to use gamification in your work
Yeah.
and your daily life to bring out the inner child or joy in people. Can you talk to me about that?
Sure. When I was a kid and I joined Boy Scouts, I realized when there's always an inner child in everybody. And if you are able to tap on the inner child in anyone, you are able to get their interest, to teach them to do a topic that they might feel bored or they feel that it's a boring topic to touch on. And gamification is a technique that we use to make sure that you can tap on the inner child of everyone to get them engaged and they feel passionate about the things that you want them to do.
Wow.
So for me, I don't know, everything I encounter in my daily work or daily, even when I'm eating, I'm playing games, I see something like, oh, I could use this with the LiveJasmin models. I could use this in Docler. And I think that became my trademark in the way how I market myself as a professional. Because in the market, there are so many learning and development professionals. And you need something like of a niche. And my niche is gamification.
Do you feel like that brings out more joy in the models, in the studio owners, in the people that you're training and working with? Do you see a difference after you've implemented some of those techniques?
I do so is because, as a, I'll give you an example. Recently, I was in Paris and I was dining. This hotel had a magician performing magic tricks to the different tables or the diners. When the magician was performing that trick to a kid and the magic trick was over, the kid could only like, oh, this is amazing. Then when the magician moved to their table, which is just adults, after the magic trick was over, you will see a small, like a split second of amazement from the adults. After that, they start to question, how did he do this? They start to get this skepticism or like, oh, this is not magic. There must be some trick. But for a kid, they take it as it is magic. So when I bring training to the, not training, when I bring gamification into a training, if you were to just train anybody, adults, they are usually skeptical of whatever they are going to train to them. If I were to add an element of games, you bring the inner child in them and they will not question as much because they get to enjoy it and a part of their child comes out. And from there, they can enjoy the process. In the game, your true self comes up because you don't know what the element is required to perform in the game. So the true self comes up. So there's a saying that says that if you want to know a person through 1 year of conversation, you can know it just through 1 hour of games because the true self comes up. So that's why I always focus on gamification in everything that I do.
Wow. Your niche basically is bringing the authenticity out of people and probably the joy with the gamification.
Correct. Because what LiveJasmin is all about is connection. And connection is built through being authentic. And that has always been the spirit of what LiveJasmin is all about. It's not just a porn site. It's not a porn site. It's a site where virtual relationships are being forged. And when you need a relationship to be forged, both sides have to show more vulnerability for them to connect. And that is I think the secret sauce that make what LiveJasmin it is so special today.
I agree. I've interviewed some of the models, the members, experts, and they all say the same thing essentially in a different way, which is that it all comes down to connection. And you make a really good point that you really can't have connection without authenticity. So it's really good to see that you, as an employee of LiveJasmin, are doing your best to bring out that authenticity as much as you can so that there can be this connection that develops, which is so key to the success of this product. What are you most proud of about what you do for the company?
I had the chance to work with hundreds of different LiveJasmin models from a different region. We fly them into, I would say, a holiday resort that belongs to us. And I get to talk to the different models. And from there, at first, I thought that what they are doing is a taboo in their culture or in their country. So when I asked them, like, oh, how does it feel like to be a LiveJasmin model? How does it feel like to be known as a webcam model? Surprisingly, 80% of the time, they say, I feel really proud I'm part of LiveJasmin. I was like, oh, don't you feel that people would be skeptical about you being a webcam model? You say, you know, if you are born in my country, it is so much more dangerous doing sex work out in the streets where I'm exposed to physical abuse. However, with LiveJasmin, if I don't reveal where I am, nobody knows where I am. They can't touch me. I'm kind of guarded by the safety of the screen. That's one. And secondly, LiveJasmin is not just about nudity. We have categories where they call them the soulmate category or the hot flirt category. There's no nudity involved sometimes. It's just pure conversation and talking. And I have met lawyers, accountants who are LiveJasmin models who says that I don't mind earning more money just chatting to people and sharing ideas or just listening to their problems, because there's so many lonely people there who have nobody to talk to. So in a way, we are feeling a void in the society, which the society failed to acknowledge, I feel. And secondly, I think we did a study before, LiveJasmin did a study before, and through that study, we interviewed, I think, thousands of people who use the webcam, and we realized that the loneliness index also went down. So which means that there's a lot of people who actually need somebody to talk to. And me being a devil's advocate, I will ask the girls, I say, you know, why would somebody pay to talk to somebody when out there's so many dating apps nowadays? You have Bumble, you have Tinder. They can just go out there, swipe right on every girl, and they have somebody to talk to, and it's free. Then the models were quite cheeky. They say, Jason, not everyone is as good looking as you. If you are not as good looking, sometimes you feel even more unwanted because you don't get any matches. And that's why we in the webcam site, we sometimes cater to this market where they feel unwanted in dating apps. They just needed somebody to talk to. And our LiveJasmin models, some of them are really smart people. I know one that has a master's in architecture. So I think that's why I feel really proud to be in a community that actually fills a void in the society and helps people.
My favorite part about what you said is that you see that the company and this product is actually filling a void in society that we don't often talk about. And you're absolutely right. I also went through some of the studies that were based on LiveJasmin. And the experts said that actually simple conversation had higher times, longer chat times, and more financial reward even than nudity. And
Yes.
that shows that people are genuinely filling this void, like you said, or getting a fix for loneliness, if you will.
Oh, it's very simple. And that's what brought me to Docler in the first place. Is I spoke to the owner of the company when he was one of the final interviewers, I I told him that I had no industry experience in whatever you want me to help you with. Why do you still want me to come in to help you? And he says that, oh, you have something that is very precious to what we need in the company, which is this customer centricity in the whole organization. Because I primarily comes from hotels, always about attention to details. How do you address every customer needs? And for me, since young, I know that I think when I was 9 or 10, I knew I wanted to be helping people. I want to serve people. If I have the chance to serve people and to help people to become better, that's what my goal is. So I know the hotel is the best industry you can do because you're paid to help and serve people. So when I had the chat with the senior management, I asked him what's the goal of LiveJasmin and Docler. At the end, he told me that this platform allows people to become a better self of what they are. It allows them to fulfill their dreams. It's because many models that I talked to, they mentioned that without LiveJasmin, I wouldn't have money to finish my studies. I wouldn't have money to raise my family or to start my family. So I think the biggest fulfillment that I get from being in Docler and LiveJasmin is I get to help people. And I get to help people to help people. And I think that is the biggest fulfillment that I get. Because money is just one thing. It doesn't fulfill the soul. But for me, since I was young, I like to help people. And when the senior management and myself, when we talk, and I realized that we have the same vision of helping people, then I was like, okay, then I'm in. I want to help you to help people.
That is beautiful and very well said. I think it's so true. We all know, usually from a young age, that we have this life purpose. You can feel it. And so, what I just heard you say is that you feel like this job gives you the opportunity to serve your life purpose, which is serving others. And that's fulfilling for you. Is there anyone at the company or anyone you work with that really inspires you or that you admire?
I would say there's one model. There's one model that I spoke to in a summit that makes me respect the profession a lot more. She has been with the site, I think, 6 years already. Let's call her Anna, just a random name, Anna. Let's call Anna. When I met Anna, when I asked her, like, oh, how long have you been with the site? She says 6 years. I was like, oh, do you feel that it's get boring because you work, I think, 6 days a week and she works 10 hours every day? For the past 6 years, she only rests on Sundays, and on Sundays she just sleeps because she says I work very hard. Then I said, does it feel like it's work? Does it get tiring for you? He says, no, because I really love my job. I'm like, oh, you love your job. It's not just a mean of money. He said, I can work in other jobs, I can get money as well. But LiveJasmin allows me to save people or help people. So one of the incidents that she shared with me, there was a member that actually was thinking of committing suicide. And before he wanted to do that, he decided, oh, why not I just visit LiveJasmin and find my old customers, old models that I talked to. And so that member went to talk to Anna, and Anna managed to talk him out of committing suicide. So to me, that was quite touching. Like a virtual model is able to talk someone out of taking their own life. And throughout the 6 years, Anna kept telling me about, I really like my job. And even though sometimes there's ups and downs where I don't have people coming in to like give a tip or talking to me, I still have this strong pride that I represent LiveJasmin. And I'm there. If anyone needs to talk to me, I'm there to talk to them. So that gained my respect of the lady called Anna. And it tells me that you can do whatever profession you want. If you feel proud and you respect your own profession, you can be the best at your trade. And Anna is not our top performing models. like she's not in our top 100. It doesn't matter. For her, I think there's other thing that fuels her passion for the job. And I'm always very drawn to people who are passionate about their job.
I agree. It's interesting because, you know, interviewing some of the members, they've mentioned that exactly, that they can tell, at least the models that they've really connected with, that they're doing what they love and they're not doing a job. And the members feel that to enjoy the experience so much more because of it. What's the most memorable moment you've had working for the company?
Actually, a really simple moment where we had Jasmine campus, where the models fly in from various countries, and when we pick them up at the airport, we pick them up in a bus, and in that bus, we print the photos of them. Every model that's gonna join us for that episode of Jasmine Campus have a picture of them on the bus. And when we greeted them at the airport, they saw their faces or their pictures in the bus. You could see the joy in the face. It's like, oh my God, I'm being treated like a celebrity, which I think they are celebrities, just that they are the unsung hero. And that's where you feel the satisfaction that comes in. And they started taking pictures with the bus, and I spoke to some of them. They said, "Oh, you know what? We never expected we'd be treated so nicely, because I thought it's just a trip. We come here, we go stay in the hotel, we do some training. I didn't know that you receive in style." Then I spoke to one of the organizers of the bus. I say, why are we and this bus is just a one-time usage. Receive them and send them to the airport. And while we're spending a lot of money just to print it out. And she says that because they deserve it. They deserve this kind of recognition is because they are not just webcam models. They are more than that. You cannot see them just as webcam models because they are like they are running their own business in some sense. They calculate how much they are charging per minute in terms of the various services or features they are using. They are like psychologists because they are always doing counseling with people that needed help. I would say they are also like a social media influencer. And they are also actors and actresses because sometimes they have to role play. They have to act a certain role in front of the member. And one of the senior management shared with me, he says, 100 years ago, if you were to say that you are an actor or an actress in ancient Rome, people will look at you and frown upon this profession that you have. But now you fast forward, why are there Oscars, Golden Globe celebrating all these actors and actresses? However, with a webcam model, they are also actors and actresses. They are also entertaining a crowd in front of a screen. The actors and actresses, they perform, they sometimes also undress in front of the camera. Webcam models are doing exactly the same thing. And they are doing a lot more. Their communication is two ways between them and the models. For an actor and actresses, usually it's a one-way communication. They act, it goes onto film, it goes onto video, but there's no interaction. One of the senior management who also told me that it's his vision to elevate how the world look at webcam models. And he feels that if nobody is making a stand for them, we have to be the pioneer to be the first one to do that. And I think that was one of the key reasons that brought me to this company, to help him fulfill this dream.
I do really believe that's part of why LiveJasmin has been so successful for so many years, because it's genuinely serving a greater purpose. And you've put that into words very well. How has the job helped you or pushed you to grow?
I would say humility. Coming from Asia, usually humility is one of the big lessons that is being taught in our schools. Asians are naturally drilled on being humble, being respectful to superiors, being respectful to elders, being respectful to others. Coming here, when I start talking to the various model, you get more humble. Like, oh, not everyone is born into a life of comfort, into a life where everything is nicely planned out for you. You have to carve things out for yourself. And some of the models, they come from countries not as prosperous or fortunate like Singapore, where I come from. So they have a tougher time. However, they manage to carve something out for themselves because through hard work or through different means to achieve their dreams. I was lucky because I was born in a very blessed family where everything is provided for me. Learning from them, it kind of humbles you. I gain more respect for this profession.
One final question, and it
Mhm.
is, what is one thing that you are most grateful for in your life?
I think I'm blessed with a healthy body, with a very healthy mind to give me the ability to help people.
Serve
Yes.
the purpose. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Jason.